It's only week 1. I'm not worried. Okay? I'm not. We went into this game knowing one thing. Browns have a great defensive line. They have a great defense in general. And if the offense can get going for them, they can be one of the best in the game. We knew that going into this, right? And I want to start off by saying, shout out to the Browns. They beat us yet again. They beat us yet again in Cleveland. And yeah, they own us, I guess. They do. Until we can prove otherwise, they own us in Cleveland. And shout out to them for that. I want to break this down by saying there's a couple things I want to look at, okay? We're going to get better next week. This is the first game of the season. We went 0-2 last year to start off the year. How did we finish? AFC Championship game. We started off slow the year before that. How did we finish? AFC Championship game, Super Bowl. One game does not define any team. One game doesn't change anything. Us losing today, we got smacked in the mouth. We got humiliated. We got taken to the shed, and despicable things happen. But again, that does not change the outcome of the year. There are 20 games in this season. One does not change anything. Now, I think this is a wake-up call that the Browns are a lot better of a team than we gave them credit for. They have upgraded that defense immensely. They have made that defense a lot better. They have a great defensive line, and they definitely now have a franchise quarterback. But let's break down this game starting off right away. The conditions, and I'm not making excuses, Browns fans, but the conditions were definitely not in favorable for either team. Now, yes, you can make the argument. The Browns also had to deal with the conditions. And yeah, freaking Deshaun Watson missed, I think, 9 or 10 wide open throws where he couldn't hit the mark. And a lot of that was the conditions. And a lot of the reasons why they were very successful against us, a lot of it was the fact that because of the conditions, they had a really good run game. And our offensive line really couldn't do anything at all. And our offensive line struggled very early with Jonah Williams getting beat by Myles Garrett on repeat. It was the first time Jonah Williams ever played right tackle in the NFL, though. Like, again, this is why week 1, you got to throw it out the window because there's so many things that, factors. First time out there, rustiness, getting the rust off. Like, there's so many issues, right? But what's unacceptable, and again, the conditions definitely did impact this game, but what's unacceptable is our play calling. We played the most vanilla offense humanly possible in this game. The plays we called were stupid. We didn't call any trickery. We didn't call any slick plays. Honestly, our first trickery play we called came in the late in the third quarter, almost the end of the third quarter, when we ran a end-around trick play with Jamar Chase. We called the most vanilla offense possible. And only every single third and short, we threw the ball like 40 yards down the field. And I don't know if it was to try to prove a point or try to open up the game and show that we could go vertical. But guess what? The Browns have a good defense. They have a good secondary. They have one of the best secondaries. You're not going to be able to do that against them. You're not. And Burrow looked off today. And yes, there was a lot of, offensive line problems throughout this game. They weren't the worst in the world. They were definitely decent. But the biggest problem was the offensive line. Again, there was guys who came in untouched or came in after real quickly. Atlanta Brown got destroyed on one play. And Burrow was under pressure, and Burrow took some hits. And yeah, there was a wide open touchdown to T. Higgins. Burrow overthrew. There was like 8 passes today to T. Higgins that was simply just bad throws. And overthrown or underthrown. There was one that was way underthrown. And Joe did not look good today. This offense in general did not look good today. The offensive line didn't look good. The play calling was awful. And the offense in general was awful. There was actually a 3rd and 3 where we threw the ball for 3 yards to Jamar Chase for a first down. And I literally looked at it and said, why don't we do that every single play on 3rd downs? Why are we throwing the ball 40 yards down the field trying to throw it to T or Chase? I understand the idea of the PI calls. I understand the idea of, well, it's one-on-one, but clearly it's not working. And the weather conditions got worse. And then they got better. And then they got worse again. And the Browns definitely took advantage of all that. And listen, they play us tough. They do. They play us amazing. They showed us today that, yeah, they own us right now. They do. And a shout out to them for that. Because they smacked us in the mouth and they deserve this win. Our defense, I know people are going to look at this game and think we gave up 24 points and they're going to trash our defense. Say Jesse Bates. Well, look what happened when Jesse Bates left. Look what happened when Von Bell left. Look what happens when all your starters left on defense. You guys can't do anything. Shut your damn mouth. Our defense today deserves a gold freaking medal. I don't care the fact that we allowed 24 points and didn't turn the ball over. Our defense today played every single snap. Every single snap today. Our defense was put to the ultimate gauntlet. Every single play being thrown, punch in the mouth, beaten down, getting back up and beaten down again. We got, 2 sacks today, 1 turnover. We punted the ball 12 times today. I mean, for God's sake. And I hate to say that because obviously, I'm not going to say for God's sake, but for peace sake, I would say. Look at that. Punt, 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 punt. Interception. Like, bro. Our defense did everything humanly possible today to play their best game possible. And they played very, very well. Yes, before halftime, they allowed Deshaun Watson to run a touchdown. They did not play perfect, but they played as perfect as they could be. And the fact of the fact is, this offense let them down. This offense let them down in every way humanly possible. And at the end of the day, we had Brad Robbins did not look good today. I mean, obviously he was, he's our punter. We got rid of Drew Chrisman, but he did not look good today. His punts today, he had a couple good ones, but he mainly, again, he had to punt the ball like 16 times today, so it didn't help out. But 35-yard punt, his first punt, his second punt here was 45 yards, and one of these was actually like a bad snap and bobbled, and then it was almost blocked. That was later in the game, though. 41-yard punt by Brad Robbins. We had a 37-yard punt, ugly punt there. Another really ugly punt here, 38 yards. I mean, it was a bad day for Brad Robbins. And a lot of it was, again, really came down to the weather conditions. But it's not an excuse. It's not. Because just like we didn't make an excuse, just like we aren't going to allow, the Buffalo Bills to make an excuse when they lost to us in the playoff game and when it was snowy, there's no excuse on how we played today. We had plays that were open. We had plays we could make. And we played the most vanilla offense humanly possible. And again, I am not taking away in any way possible credit to the Cleveland Browns for beating us. Because they smacked us in the mouth. And yeah, they proved the point. They proved the point. Their point was, right now, they own us. But one game does not define the season. One game doesn't change the outcome of how this year ends. One game doesn't stop you from winning the Super Bowl and getting the job done. I don't care if one game we lose. I'll lose this game 1,000,000 times in a row if I have to. If I can go and hold that Lombardi trophy up in week 18. Well, sorry, my bad. Week 20. Week 22. Thank you. Week 22. Well, you know what? I got one thing to say. Who effing day?